Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, my beautiful and energized audience, my followers. I'm back. I'm back here to talk to you again with a lot of pleasure, a very special guest. And today's topic is about life purpose and why is it important. My name is Eva Dias, and this is my HR Talk with Eva Dias show. And I do hope you will appreciate and will enjoy a lot as I do being here and talking to you. So without further ado, I'm going to go directly to my special guest. Her name is Katrina Aboriside. Is this correct, the way I pronounce your name?
It's very close. It's Katrina or Berija Day.
Oh,
It's
that Aborigine. Oh,
yeah.
my, beautiful. This beautiful lady, I had the pleasure to meet in a special event in London a couple of months ago, where we were reunited with about 100 other beautiful women and very successful for a special event, conference, where we all, or most of us, had the opportunity to talk a little bit about our own topics. And I have to stop here. You have to cut this and run on. So let me do it again. We had the opportunity to meet, network, but above all, what most amazed me were their stories. And Katrina's story is one that really make a lot of sense for me to share with you. And when I invited her to come over here and do so, she immediately accepted. And I know Katrina for only a couple of months, but this little time I've been spending with her and her adorable daughter, Alia, it tells me the kind of human being that she is. Her generosity, her way of living her life, and all this comes back to someone who has a great purpose in her life. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce you to Katrina Aborigine. Is this better?
That's
Aborigine.
that's close enough.
All right. So, Katrina, can you please introduce yourself and letting us know who you are, talk about your family, cultural origin, a little bit about your business. I will further down in all this, but if you can give us like a couple of minutes introduction about yourself, please.
My name is Katrina Berija Day. I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana, which is a very small city in Louisiana. I come from actually the poorest zip code in Louisiana. I was raised by teen parents. Um, I have a beautiful daughter in which my company names are in honor of her, which is Aggie, Aggi, which is the first two letters, the A and the G are for her initials. And then the second G is for growth, because we all have areas that we can grow in. It doesn't matter how far you climb up the ladder. We all have areas that we can grow in. And then the I is for inspiration, because we all inspire each other in some kind of way, form or fashion. As Miss Eva was speaking on earlier, how we met in London and we connected. I don't know, when I met you on the elevator, we were immediately connected. But that goes back to the environment that you were brought up in. I come from real humble beginnings, from Shreveport, Louisiana, and I'm very passionate about helping people succeed in life. I love people. I love people.
Just like me.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Katrina. I love people too. Maybe that was the one point that made us to connect immediately in the elevator in London. Wonderful. So, can you share with us the beginning of your story? You started already, talking about it, but what and who inspired you to become who you are today?
Coming from Louisiana, which is one of the I'll say underserved states in the US, and coming from the poorest zip code in Louisiana and being raised by teen parents, it just made me realize my sole purpose in life early on was to give back. And being raised by grandparents was a great experience. A lot of people look at that like, oh, they look down on that. Every problem in life has its blessings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing because I never forget where I came from. I always reflect back on that. So my Nana, as I call her, my grandmother, which helped raise me, she kept me grounded. No matter how far you grow on the ladder, you always have to reach back and pull other people up with you.
Beautiful. I love this purpose of life, give back, never forgetting your origins, and take people with you wherever you go, no matter how high you climb the stairs of success. You never forget the others and people that help you to do so. And you are somehow also paying tribute to the people who raised you, your Nana, your grandmother,
Yes.
your teen parents, right? Fantastic. Guys, I gotta tell you, those of you watching, it only gets better. I tell you, her story is fantastic. Wonderful. Thanks, Katrina. What are the biggest opportunities you've identified while building your pathway to success? What was, the things that you saw and I was like, okay, I gotta go to this because I know this is what is going to take me there, where I want to be.
One of the things that I identified was my story is very unique. There's a lot of obstacles there that a lot of people can gravitate to and grow from and learn from. I don't know any successful person just went from the sea up to the stars. It all starts and begins with a story. Your environment contributes a lot to your ending. For me, it took a lot. It took a lot. You have to reflect. You have to take the lessons from it and you have to grow from it. Some of those lessons are very painful at the beginning. But as you understand your reason why, they become a lot easier to deal with.
The purpose.
Yes,
right?
your purpose to keep you, the purpose, the reason on why you started in the first place, your why, it'll keep you going on those days that you feel like going. You reflect back to your why, it'll keep you going. Because it's gonna be difficult. There's no like smooth road to success. You have to go to valleys and streams to get there.
I agree. Is there any particular situation you'd like to share as an example of, the struggles that you went through to be where you are today? If you want to, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because I feel like we can all grow together. There was one scenario after COVID, after the pandemic, and I felt like my company was growing. And I put out an ad to hire a warehouse manager. And I already had my person, but I overlooked her because that was, the employee. But she already demonstrated characteristics of the person that I put out the ad for. but she just needed some fine tuning. So I presented that position to her because it wouldn't be fair to what I've already built and what she helped me to build. To bring somebody in new, it didn't seem right. So I presented the position to her. She so graciously accepted, which I'm blessed for. And yeah, because in those situations, you're gonna have to reflect a lot on where you came from, your environment, your background, and we're all not perfect. We all just need that fine tune, because there's times when your company begins to grow that you might have employees that are in the wrong positions. They're a great employee, but they're just in the wrong position. The right person, but wrong position.
Yep. I love this example. And I love that you brought it up here in, for the big audience, because I heard the example before. And I really applauded you for, one, being bold as a leader to make this decision, to bet on somebody that you saw could have the potential, but not yet the full experience. And guess what? It worked out very well for both of you. For you, the person in need of a leader for the warehouse, and for this person that, as far as I understand, she bloomed. And she's doing pretty well in her new role. And I will take the opportunity here as an HR to really encourage all leaders watching us, anybody, to think and reflect about what Katrina did. Because we have this very bad habit, and I include myself as an HR advisor. In the past, I don't do this anymore, I can assure you, that perhaps the best is to bring somebody new. Or if somebody is not working in a given work, is to dismiss this person without giving them, a chance, where there's a second chance with training, with the right tools for them to perform well, or what she did, which is changing jobs. Because in my career, I can assure you, one thing I have concluded is that there is no incompetent people. What happens is there are people that are not a fit for a given job, and even, and very commonly, a fit for a given organization. So I want you guys to really take this example to reflect on the way you've been managing your most valuable asset of your business, your people. And see if you don't have an opportunity there to do what Katrina did, and see how successful was her decision. Thank you, my dear. Let me move to the next one. So you talk about opportunities. How about challenges? What were the biggest ones? So you kind of talk, in overall terms that it was not easy, but perhaps you want to come up with one or two examples and how you overcome them. What is your secret to deal with difficult situations?
How I deal with difficult situations. At the beginning, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be discomfort. But you and I've said this many times, you have to reflect back on your why. What's your purpose? And then, on some of those days that you just, you can't take it, you also have to prioritize.
Prioritize.
Yes, you also have to prioritize. What's your 5 main things that you have to get done this day? And what's your time frame for getting those things done? Now, life is going to happen. Guaranteed. As long as you're living, life is going to happen. So sometimes you might have to deviate from those things that you prioritized. And what I do, when I get up every morning is I pray. Because one day above ground is a day of meaning. It's a day of purpose. It's a day to give back. And I also meditate. because you also, yes, you have to meditate. You also have to take that time in for yourself to get your day started, to allow God to sink in and talk to you as well. And I also study. You also have to study your craft. You know, you could take 5-10 minutes, you know, if you have more time. It could be more hours within the day. And you also have to exercise, whatever that might look like to you. It could be a yoga mat in your house. It could be lifting weights for 5-10 minutes. You know, it could be jumping jacks. Just anything to de-stress. Anything to de-stress. You have to find out what makes you calm. What makes you calm? For me, it's water. I love being around water. I love water because it's constantly flowing. If you ever look at water, it's constantly flowing. There could be rocks there, there could be boulders there could be glaciers, but the water is still going to go around. It's constantly flowing. And it makes me calm around water.
Beautiful. Let me try to recap your secrets for success. Number 1 is your purpose, right?
Yes. Yes.
Number 2, prioritizing. You're right. Sometimes we are so taken by so many things that we need to be good. I'd say even champion prioritization. Number 2, exercise. Do some exercise. Whatever, is good for each person. But
Right.
I fully agree with you. Exercise, move your bodies, because moving your body, you are moving your brain, your mind together. Then you talk about meditation. And yes, meditation helps a lot to calm us down. But more than calming, I do meditate as well. Meditation helps me to find solutions. It clears up,
It does.
that is very clouded. And I immediately can see the pathway to whatever I am looking for. So meditation, great. So you talk about water, because it flows. I love this analogy. I love it. Yes, and it takes away, whatever anxiety or, anything that you have stuck there that is not positive. I also love water, coming from where I come from. In my country, Brazil, we have a huge coast, as most people may know. And I grew up with this concept of, being on the beach and visiting. But I do live by the beach right now, and it's fantastic. And I think somehow you do also, Katrina, if I understand well. Looking at the window and seeing the ocean is already a wonderful exercise of calming for me. And I understand same for you. I mean, if you cannot be living with a view to the ocean, don't worry. Try to bring the ocean to you,
Right.
with images, with pictures, whatever, works for you. But have water surround you.
Definitely.
One way or another, right?
Definitely. Even meditation, you can meditate in the shower. Meditate.
Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be expensive. You can meditate in the shower in the morning.
Exactly.
The water just flowing. Yes. It brings a sense of calm.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I love this. And no wonder that you've been so successful, because you really take care. And this is something that I want the audience to retain from this conversation as well. We are not, in general, human beings are not very good in taking care of ourselves, because we live our lives based upon others' standards.
Mm-hmm.
I want you all to reflect on this. First thing is, live it based upon your own standards. And if you ask, but how can I do this? It's very simple. Have a purpose in your life. That's why today's topic is the life purpose. I have been gone through many individuals in my coaching practice, asking them, what is your life purpose? And the number of people that cannot answer this question is alarming and very concerning for me. Incredible. Because as you say, Katrina, very wise and well said. When you know why you're doing something, the purpose, nobody can take you down. Nobody, nothing. Because you know why you're doing this, right? Fantastic. So what are the biggest values that nurtures your life? Those that you do not compromise, and why?
The biggest values for me is knowing that I'll leave a legacy for my future grandkids. And that I'm not willing to compromise for anyone. Because for me, me coming from humble beginnings, I don't want my grandkids to ever mention or whisper the word struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And me providing that knowledge to my daughter so she can invoke that to my future grandkids is something that it's not up for compromise. Like, no, because I know that they're going to lead. I know that she's going to be able to provide a wealth of knowledge to my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing, what I've built, will have a hand in it. And it leaves me, it makes me proud.
And you should be. Wow. What I love about your this nurturing value is that it is long term. When you talk about your grandkids, it is a very long term value and very sustainable. So, you know, it is bulletproof. Let's put it this way.
Yeah,
It
because
goes without saying.
yeah, I didn't come from a cheerleading environment where I had all these people, cheering you on and, examples of this is how you do this.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm very unfamiliar to me. So it's like I'm from scratch. But I also reflect back on to my grandparents, the wealth of knowledge that they left me on, growing a garden and, just having good morals in life, and no matter how small you have, there's always enough to share.
Fantastic. Wonderful. So, next question here. What are the best qualities you look at people from your entourage, your friends, your family, etc.? How people can qualify? This is a trick question. I don't know why I put it here, but because you have so much in terms of wisdom to offer, that I want to hear this from you. How the people that are surround you, they qualify to be there, in your view? What it takes to be friends with Katrina?
I say we don't meet each other by chance. We all meet each other by purpose, with all aligned. Mm-hmm. And you have to know why you're meeting this person. Is it a leaf, or is it somebody that has a chapter of your life or a lifelong story? And to me, going back to my environment when I was raised with my grandparents, just having good moral value, how you treat people, how you conduct yourself, just having a quality of life about yourself. Mm-hmm. Just, feeling good about you. Because if you don't feel good about you, how can you give that to somebody else? And it doesn't matter where you come from. Because as I explained earlier, I come from very humble beginnings. But you have to feel good about yourself to be able to feel good about somebody else. And you have to, engage in people in different environments. A work environment, a personal environment, how they engage with their family, how they interact with their family, how do they treat strangers? Because if a person treats a stranger bad, for no given reason, but you've had a bad day. Maybe that stranger had a bad day as well.
Sure.
That doesn't make you any better than that stranger. And that's where humility comes into play. And it doesn't matter how successful or how wealthy or whatever you think that you are, you treat people with respect and dignity. And that's what I look for when I interact with people. And
beautiful. Wow. I'm feeling really, really inspired by all your answers. I had a prior question, but you just answered this, which was about your humbleness, your positive attitude. And the question was, where did you get this from? But I think you just answered.
yeah.
Because it's something that really caught my attention. How humbled and how generous you are as a person. And one can always say, but how do you know? You said you just met her very recently and a couple of times. Well, first of all, I think my experience with people helped me, but I don't want to do this in a judgmental manner. These are just things, qualities that you really emanate, when, it is you. It is Katrina Aborisai.
And it's not being judgmental. You have to be wise in
Yes.
who you surround yourself with. They have to be in alignment with your path. Because if they're not in alignment, then it's like it's a disgrace to us and the path that God has set us on. So we have to keep in alignment with that. Because he equipped us with those tools, but it's up to us to use them.
Exactly. And you said something very important for that, which is getting to know yourself, respect who you are, right? Be good with yourself and really live yourself, SELF, as the best thing that the Lord could put here. Because once we do it and we emanate that, everybody else will feel the same about you.
That's true.
And going back to that point, that the way to go to reach this point in our lives is to really start living by your own standards. And because what that does also is to help you, anybody, to start lowering self-judgment. And when you start reducing your self-judgment, you immediately stop judging others.
That's very true.
It's a projection, right?
Yeah, that's very true, Miss Eva. Because a lot of times that we fault ourselves and we're our hardest critic. But you have to forgive yourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for things that we didn't know, that we weren't shown. We have to give ourselves grace in order to give others grace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to be full with ourselves, full in a way, very 100% nurtured. Because then you shift your focus to others.
Yes.
And I know this for a fact because I went through this transition. And the day that I decided that it was no longer about myself anymore, because I didn't need anymore, being accepted or endorsed or all these approvals, because I approve myself 100%.
You didn't need that. That validation.
Exactly. We don't need validation. Then I have time to focus on others and give my best to whomever, to your point, is part of my surroundings, which is not everybody. Today, at the same time, I give myself the right to exclude, somebody that really is not there aligned with, what I want, because now it's about what I want, not others. And that's why I can give the best of myself to others. Love it. Love. Let's shift a little bit this conversation to talk business. Is that okay?
Yes.
Tell me about your business, Agi. We know that the name was, a tribute to your. You named it after your daughter. If I
Yes.
understood well, the first two letters, A and G, right? Then
Yes.
the other G is for growth, and the other I, help myself, is for
Because we all hire
inspiration.
each. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Actually, tell us how the whole thing started, and how you got to where you are with your business.
Actually, I had a brief battle with skin cancer a few years back. I don't know, you might be able to see the scar, but yeah. And treatments that they were giving me was not helping my skin. It actually got worse. It was the topical chemo, which I rubbed on my face, and I actually broke out in a rash, which I reflected back on to what my grandmother used to do when she was just very all natural. She used all natural products. So I started researching, and I came up with my own ingredients to make my own skincare products, which worked very well on my skin to bring it back to its natural state. So I developed a skincare line, which did very well back, I want to say 2016. And then I opened my first spa in 2018. And then the second one in 2020, which when the pandemic,
Yeah.
before pre-COVID, like a few, we were always surprised by that. But that's and the reason why I did the skincare line, because I wanted others to know that they were not suffering alone, and that there are solutions naturally that can heal yourself, that you don't have to use these chemical-based products, that there are, people that are going through the same things that you are going through, that you're not suffering alone. And I also have natural candles, which are all coconut soy based. And I use them a lot. I love candles. So yeah, and then and that made me branch off into Aggie Enterprises. Aggie Enterprises is mostly geared towards real estate. Which, yes, it's I wouldn't say a huge, but I'll say I have a portfolio of different real estate ventures that I have a laundromat, a few Airbnbs, and then a few rental properties that I do. And the reason behind that is because I came from humble beginnings, and I wanted to kind of shift the economic power in my hometown, because we wasn't exposed to a lot. And for them to see someone that came from the same struggle that they came from succeed, whatever that might look like in their eyes, I think that would, cause a great shift for the people to follow. And I didn't get into real estate to make a huge revenue. We all get into stuff to make a profit, yes, but I didn't get into it to make a huge revenue. I wanted, to provide that opportunity for someone else to provide generational wealth to their family, as long as they had the proper mindset and the proper morals.
Wow. Beautiful. So your first business came from one of your struggles?
Yes.
You had tension, since the beginning. It hasn't been easy. Then you transform that into a big opportunity. But what I like is not just an opportunity for yourself, it's an opportunity to help other people with the same sort of situation.
Right.
So guys, you that are listening and watching us, so you can see that I was not kidding when I talked about her generosity and her humbleness, and how people-oriented this woman is in everything she does. I did not know about this. It's the first time I'm hearing this story, so it's fantastic. And even the real estate, everything she does has this element, this component of helping others. And God bless you. I love it. Fantastic. How you talked about this fantastic example with one of your staff. How would you qualify yourself as a leader of people? What are the major characteristics of Katrina leading her people?
I say the greatest characteristics of being a great leader is being able to put yourself in that person's shoes, being empathetic. You still must be relatable as a leader. Mm-hmm. Even though a person, they've shown you all these good traits and then all of a sudden they start, changing, they start shifting. There's something going on in that person's life. And you also have to be able, you must reflect on when there was something going on in your life that you weren't able to show up as you should have. So you must be empathetic as a leader and be able to walk in that person's shoes, no matter how far you climb up on that ladder. You must be empathetic, you must be relatable.
Perfect. Empathy, I think is I don't know if it's number one, but it's one of the top three biggest, particularly in today's reality, characteristics or competencies, you call it the way you want, of a real good leader. I would add up compassion and authenticity.
Yes.
Right? Because and I've been working a lot with my clients on that. Going back to this, notion of human beings living by other standards. I spent 30 years of my life in corporations, and this is an environment. And by the way, this is not a criticism, it is what it is, because we choose the way we want those things, right?
Yes.
Because we want to be accepted in that environment, it is the one that really helps you to calcify, I don't know, consolidate the process of not being yourself.
Yes.
Right? And when you say what you're saying, that as a leader, the best quality is to be able to put yourselves in other shoes. That is tremendous, That is what really breaks down this process and in this toxicity, of work environment. Because if you say you are doing this, that means that you are not going to be judging people, your staff in the first place. Before you do this, you try to understand why they are doing things the way they are. And like you said, they might be going through very difficult situations in their private lives. That's a reason. Very proud of you. You are a great leader. Wonderful. What is your advice for women who may be also struggling with integrating their work, family, and all other dimensions of their lives, particularly now and during this pandemic? It is for a fact that women were more sacrificed and after. So what do you have to say to them based on your own experience?
There has to be a balance with anything that you do in life. At the beginning, there's always going to be discomfort. There's always going to be discomfort when you start exercising. You're going to be tired. There's always going to be discomfort when you start a business. Oh, this is taking too much money. This is taking too much of my time. But you have to go back to what's important and why you're doing it. And you have to have that happy medium. This is important. This day, my kid's birthday is coming up. I need to make a schedule around that. I need to shift my schedule so I can make that happen. And you just have to prioritize. You have to have that happy medium on what's really important. Now, are you going to make all the kids' birthdays as you climb the ladder of success? No. It's not going to happen. Life is going to happen. It's life. But you have to have that happy medium, and you also have to replenish yourself as well, so you can meet those sacrifices and make those parties and whatever that's most important to you. Because if you don't replenish yourself, then you're not going to be able to give back to anything, not your business, not your family life, not anything. So you have to have that happy medium. Whatever that might look like to you, prioritize it. And when life happens, it's life. It happened.
Wonderful. I really like it. I think you make me think of this notion also that our lives are our choices. It is translated by our choices.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we have to be very comfortable with our choices.
Yes.
Because if we are, and choices are linked to the purpose. Always. You choose to do something. If you have very clear purpose, you'll never regret. Mm-hmm. Even if it doesn't, the outcome is not that positive. You don't care. You just keep going. Because right. It is like you said, life is life, And today I tend to see everybody's life as a package that the Lord sent to us. Mm-hmm. And there's no, almost for me at least, this notion of bad and good. Everything I take as a gift. Because I learn a lot from the, let's say, not so good situations, and I'm very thankful. And I have a lot of gratitude for the very positive ones. And I think you are the same, based upon everything you said here, right?
Yeah,
I like that you say, yeah, go ahead.
In every problem that we encounter, there's a blessing there. There's a lesson.
Absolutely.
That we encounter.
And talking about advice and message to women, more particularly, I love your message, and I like to add up that don't be tough at yourself. On the contrary, recognize yourself every day, reward yourself for what you are and what you do, because it's huge, it's big. And I don't like, to be honest with you personally, to be, playing these cards, men, women, because I think we are all here for the same purpose, talking about purpose. But it's true that women tend to do much more because it is defined by nature. Right?
That's true. That's very true.
So therefore, go ahead.
That's very true what you said too. The success looks the same, but the steps to get there might look different, but the outcome is the same.
Yeah. True. And we might have to have more steps to get to the same place. That's but true. It is great because it is our choice. I have friends that decided to stop their careers just to be at home with their family, with the husband and with the kids. And I, as we say in French, I, give my chapeau to them because it is as difficult decision as a decision of, doing everything at the same time. And I see this woman sometimes feeling miserable. It's like they owe something to society. And I say, please, never. Once I heard that being a mom, it's a non-stop job. If you chose this job, you know why. Going back to the purpose. And it is so beautiful. Why are you feeling bad about yourself? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
There is no need. So this is also a message for whomever is there out there, women feeling that you owe something to anybody because you didn't have at the same time a career and your family and blah, blah, blah. Your choice.
Yeah.
90% of what we do in our life is by choice. 10% or something could be by fate, but choices, and be very proud of them.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Yes.
Very good, Katrina. Great conversation. Thank you so much. Like I said in the beginning, I was sure you had a lot to share, and very inspiring. I really like you, as I have met you a long time ago. And like you said, we don't know why we meet people and we embrace people in our lives, but that's how I feel about you. And I think whomever is going to be watching us will understand why. I don't need to say more. Last words, last thing that you want to say to the audience that will be watching us.
I'll say just be very intentional about your path, about your purpose in life. Be very intentional and make sure that you understand what's important in life. And we all have, one thing is certain in life, we're all going to live and we're all, expire one day. Make sure that that dash in between is worthy, whatever that might look like to you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Katrina, again. So I'm going to say goodbye to my beautiful audience. Just so you know, Katrina, this is aired in different spaces. One of them it goes to YouTube, but it's also streamed through Roku in many channels around the globe in television, so cable television, okay? So that's why I love to do this, because, and I'm being very blessed to have people like you accepting coming here to share their stories and sending this such a inspiring messages. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And thank you all that will be watching this. I'll be back next week with more. So, but Katrina's fantastic. So God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.